For the call to worship, I've selected words from the Kalidasa. Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lie all the verities and realities of your existence, the bliss of growth, the glory of action, the splendor of beauty. For yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow is only a vision. But today well lived, makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day. Vacation, people are on the road, and it's Father's Day, huh? And yeah, you're celebrating your father back there, right? What's your name? Jesse. What? Jackson? No. Jesse. Jesse and Bella. Jesse and Bella. You know one another? Yeah. Okay, great. Good to see you, buddy. Glad you're up here. Okay, now, I'm going to talk today about how we need to wake up and stay awake. When you get up in the morning, a little drowsy sometimes, and you got to wake up. Do you have an alarm clock, or do your father and mother, somebody come in and wake you up sometimes? Say, wake up, Jesse, Bella, you got school. But now you don't have school. It's a little trickier, huh? But the whole point of life is to stay awake. Now, you need to take a nap once in a while. I do. Now, you guys, hey, what's your name? Lara. Lara? Yeah. Great. Glad you're here. Okay, now, I take naps. The point is you need to be awake and stay awake. That's the whole point in life. You don't want to fall back to sleep in the middle of life. You want to be awake to all the happy things that are going to happen to you, and the sad things, and the beautiful things. You want to stay awake and be there. Hey, another guy, man, is growing. I can't believe it, yeah. Yeah, great to have you up here, buddy. What's your name? Aiden, all right. I got a grandson, Zayden. And then he lives with another boy at the two families together, Caden. So Caden, Zayden, and Aiden. Caden, Zayden, and Aiden. Okay, now, I'm going to show you something, and everyone can see it, and because I'm going to try to stay awake here and read Aiden's mind. I'm going to read your mind and your heart. Okay, but everyone gets to kind of jump in here. So I'm going to start with, okay, I think everyone can see these. Okay, what's that?
Square.
Yeah, square. Okay. Now, Bella, how about that? Circle, yeah. And this one here is, it's an X, yeah? Yeah, so it's sort of marking a spot or something. Okay, and this one here, Jesse, yeah. What?
Figure 8.
Yeah, figure 8 or? Infinity, yeah, right. And then this one is like a star. Sort of like a star, right?
Or fireworks.
Or fireworks, yeah, okay, yeah, right, yeah. Yeah, okay, great. We'll call it fireworks from now on. Yeah, that's really good. So what I'm going to do now, we turn the cards over. Now, how many days are there usually in a month? 30 or 31, right? So these are the dates of the month that are on here. So I kind of know something about each of you because of this side, but now I'm going to turn to Aiden, and I'm going to ask you a question, Aiden. There's a special date of the month. Let's say your birthday, what's your birthday?
May 9th.
May 9th, yeah. Our daughter's is May 7th. My granddaughter's is May 3rd. So May 9th. You're not going to think of the number 9, right? Because I already know it. You're going to think of some other date in the month between 1 and 3rd. Don't tell me. Don't tell anybody. You're going to write it on the board so everyone can see it. Then I'm going to, miracle of miracles, try to figure this out. And if I don't, I got to leave early. And I'll be on my way to Yuma or Brawley, one of the performing nights. Okay, so you're going to think of a date. Do you have a date? It could be your mother's birthday, or your dad. It could be the birthday of your dog, or just a special day. You're thinking about it? Now, don't tell anybody. You got it? You have it between 1 and 31? Okay? Okay, you're going to write it on here. step down there and write it in big letters, and I'm going to turn away, okay? Can you write that on there in big letters? Okay, now step down there.
Do I have to, write the number?
The number. If it's 20,
The month?
no, not the month. If it's 20, you write 20. Okay, now don't let me get down there. So I'm going to look out the lot out here. That's a nice looking car there, huh? That's better than the car I brought. Okay, yeah, I like that. Okay, you write it big so everyone can see it. Have you done it, Aiden? You're doing it? You're going to do it before we take the offering, aren't you? Yeah. Have you done it? Okay, did you show it to everybody? Okay, now put it down on the floor so I don't see it. Face down so I can't see it. Is it down on the floor? Okay, great. Okay, there it is. Great. Let's see the pen. I'll put the, thank you. Yeah, and you'll be the one, Bella, that will erase it when we're all done. Okay, now I'm going to tell you one more thing. I'm going to ask you one more thing. Okay, Aiden, look up here. You're going to tell me whether your number is on, which card it's on and which it isn't. Don't tell me the number, and you guys kind of confirm it. Okay, is it on this card?
Yes.
It is? Okay, it is, huh? Okay. Is it on this one? No, huh? No. Is it on this one?
Yes.
It is? Okay, you're positive, right? Is it on that one?
No.
No. Last one, is it on that one?
Yes.
Sure? Okay. Oh, this is harder than I thought. Okay, I'm going to name a number. It's an interesting number because I see two of them there. I see the same number twice. If I can really stay awake right now, you're going to turn the board over and show everyone your number is 11.
Yes.
Show it to everybody. Okay. Nice going, you guys. That was great. Now, do you want to erase it, Bella? Okay, very good. Thank you so much. And the theme is stay awake. Stay awake. Right, all right. Okay, we sing out. I can't remember, do we? Yeah. Okay, you guys. Thanks for coming up here.
All right. Please sing From You I Receive, to You I Give. Printed in your order of service as you bring your food donations forward and sing our children off to their religious exploration classes. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, from you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. Each time we gather the offering, we widen the circle of we to include one more, those beyond the walls of Live Oak. Everything you see around you, all we have done, all we will do, happens because the members and friends of our congregation choose to believe that our greatest treasure is found not in what the world gives us, but what we give to it. Unless you write pledge on your check, 1/2 of your offering this morning will go to support Camp Think. That's not can't think, it's Camp Think. Most children look forward all year to summer vacation with the possibility of trips to the beach and summer camps with arts and crafts. But homeless children don't have these aspirations. Their parents can't even afford housing. To remedy this situation, a group of teachers, including our Pat Johnson, started Camp Think, where students without homes get individual academic tutoring in math and reading skills in the morning and visit places like the UCSB Marine Biology Lab in the afternoon. This is the third year for Camp Think, and the children have been very successful. Once again, this morning, our half basket will go to support this camp and Pat Johnson's work with homeless kids. You are now invited to participate in the blessing of giving as the greeters move among you to accept your gifts. Will the greeters please come forward?
Well, it's good to be back. I was here just before Thomas arrived and after Erica left. And it's particularly nice because our daughter and her brood live in Montecito. So it really gives us a chance to come from San Diego. And Carolyn said she'd rather be with the brood than hear me again. So, I mean, I understand that. That's okay. But, and I want to thank Wilson Hubble. What a fine associate. He even has on my water cup my name. I mean, that is truly unusual. I mean, you're usually, a visiting minister is usually scrambling for water or something like that. But I look down here and well, that's it. Yeah, here's, that's mine. Yeah, Reverend Tom. So thank you. You're attentive to every detail. And I want to let you know, it's wonderful that Thomas is here because often when I'm doing professional preaching, going around, I've retired from settled ministry, but I go around and do sermons and workshops. The minister isn't able to be in town for understandable reasons. And I want to say some things out loud about my friend and colleague. You're lucky to have him. And from what I can ascertain, he's lucky and blessed to have you. And I know it's a short while, but well, you know, we're all short-timers, really, whether it's a 2-year ministry or 25-year ministry. Matters not. You go for broke, you give all that you have. You not only have a seasoned veteran here, but you have someone of deep heart and a rousing soul. And I just think it's a blessing to be able to say that out loud to Thomas and for him to hear it and for you to hear it as well. Because we often we miss those connections and those affirmations. I will stay around afterwards, and I have my books, and I want to travel back to San Diego lighter, you know, and and I also have, if you buy Wake Up today, you get one of my other books free. I mean, it's a Father's Day discount here. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you. Wake Up Now sounds like scary doomsday stuff, doesn't it? I mean, ominous, like the end of the world is coming. So shape up or ship out. No, that's not what I mean. I'm saying wake up now because today marks the beginning of the rest of your life, not the end of your life. And I want us all to relish every precious remaining moment we possess. Who am I? Who are you? And who are we called to be at this irrepeatable juncture in human history, in this peculiar corner of the universe? Well, we've got some help in answering these huge questions. All the spiritual giants in history offer a similar jumpstart. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Now, they said a lot of other stuff to be sure, but the charge to wake up constitutes the core message of every world religion. Because waking up is the key to life and life abundant. Waking up and staying awake from start to finish is a reason we're taking up space on earth. It's our life purpose. It's our mission. According to tradition, a person once asked Gautama, "Are you a god?" "No." "Well, are you an angel?" And he said, "No, I'm not that either." "Well, how about a saint?" "No, you got it wrong." "Well, then who and what are you, Gautama?" And he answered, "I am awake. I am awake." Hence, Gautama became the Buddha, an awakened one. Note, an awakened one, not the awakened one. There's Buddha nature inherent in every living being. Buddha comes from the Sanskrit root to fathom a depth, to penetrate to the bottom, to perceive, to come to one's senses, to wake up. To wake up. To wake up to the mysteries within and the moral mandates without. The truth is that only from an awakened state will the fruits of the Spirit flow. Fruits such as love and justice and beauty and balance and hope and joy. All good things flow from waking up and staying awake. Now, to be sure, splendid spiritual work is often accomplished or at least fertilized while we're asleep or daydreaming. And occasional naps are crucial. As I told the kids, I sure take them. I take more of them now that I'm retired from settled ministry. In fact, I get up most days. I'm an early riser, get up early, do my Nepalese body prayer, a short prayer, and then that's after I've gone to the bathroom, of course. And then, if Carolyn's up, we take a walk together. If she's not, I often will go to the gym first, then come back, then we walk together. But midday now, almost on the dot, after lunch, I take a nap. And it recharges and re-inspires the rest of the day for me. I'm just really more awake. My conscience, my soul, my body, my mind, I'm more awake. Too often, too many of us are prone to languorous lulls, or we medicate ourselves into zombiehood rather than practice the rigorous yet basic art of staying awake. Whether you're still laboring in the fields during the day or not, you're charged to be an awakened one. You see, it's tempting in a world of heaviness, a world of horror, personal and global, to go back to sleep every day, to flee, to hide out, to retreat from life's gloom and glare. So wakefulness isn't some bottle of 5-hour energy boost, okay? It's not an hour-long intensive of meditation or a 4-week intensive or a 10-year plan. Waking up is a supreme way of being a free and a responsible sister and brother during the time we walk the earth, starting right here and now. The Jewish prayer, "Blessed be the source of life that brings us where? To this moment. To this moment. Not to yesterday, not to tomorrow, or even this afternoon, but to this very moment." Or the Christian scriptures urge, "Behold, now is the acceptable time. Now is the day of salvation." I would amend, now is the moment of your salvation, moment by moment by moment. And so, I put together a source book, 366 days worth, although I was talking to my brother-in-law, lives up outside in Oregon, outside of Medford, and he and his wife use this meditation manual, daily guide of lessons, And sometimes they read 2 or 3 in a day. Sometimes they Skype one of their children. Sometimes he takes it to a board meeting. So there are a lot of different ways I call them wake-up calls. Wake-up calls to get our blurry soul back into focus. And so they're longer than tweets, okay? But they're shorter than protracted essays. And it's like my magician buddies will tell me, you got to have stuff that packs small and plays big. And that's what I try to do when I'm on the road. But I also, talking about the homeless young people in your area here, one of my volunteer contributions, I try to work my neighborhood. That's one of the guidelines, within 3 miles. It's where I work at the homeless center, where I sing in 2 nursing homes, and where I volunteer for homeless youth. These are youth, most are GLBT, who've been booted out of their home. This is not a family situation. There's some wonderful, the Monarch program in San Diego, where your entire family comes and is housed, and then the kids are in the school program there. These are youth that have been booted out. They're on the streets, and but most every one of them who comes has a backpack nowadays. So I put the ropes and the playing cards and again, magic tricks, magic effects that we create together that give them a sense of wow and self-confidence in their life as they hit the road again, or to find a more stable and living environment. Because some of them are there 3 days, some of them are there 3 months. But pack small, plays big. I'm in my early 70s. And like George Bernard Shaw wrote, I want my life to be thoroughly used up when I die. Now, I didn't say wasted or exploited, squandered, or martyred. I said used up. Or as was said of Jack Nicholson in his Bucket List movie, he planned to die with his eyes shut, but with his heart wide open. Eyes shut, heart wide open. That's my plan as well as I come down my home stretch. And I want to now share with you some samples instead of just talk about how to use it and what might be in this book. And I was thinking about it on the way up actually this morning from Montecito, that I ought to share one that has to do with Father's Day. And this one's called Reach Out in Solidarity. I resonate with the Blackfoot tribe and the manner in which they greet one another. They don't start with, how are you? But rather, how are the connections? Implying that the core of life consists of bonds. Life ultimately has to do with how we function with rather than apart, or from, or against one another in the world. There are those who reach up in deference, those who reach back in nostalgia, those who reach down in patronizing. Collaborators are those who reach out in solidarity. Strong people know how to do that. They're neither jealous nor frightened to divide the burden and multiply the glory. They create institutions that resemble the jazz combo as a harmonious, mutually supportive, creative alliance of soloists. Paul in the Christian scriptures invites people to address one another as yoke fellows. We are solitary creatures, to be sure, but change the T to a D, we are also solidary beings. We are yoke fellows. Here's an illustration. A girl and her father were walking along the road when they came across a large stone, and the girl said to her father, "Do you think if I use all my strength, Dad, I can move this rock?" And the father answered, "Yes, dear, if you use all your power. I'm sure you can do it." And the girl began to push the rock, and exerting herself as much as she could, the youngster pushed, and the rock didn't budge a whole lot. And discouraged, she turned to her father and said, "You were wrong, Dad. I can't do it." And her father placed an arm around his daughter's shoulder and tearfully said, "No, my daughter, you didn't use all your strength. You didn't ask me to help. You didn't ask me to help." Here's another one that could be Father's Day message as well. I call it "Be Concerned About Every Last Child." In the Maasai warrior culture, the inevitable daily greeting, adult to adult, is, "And how are the children of the village? How are the children of the village?" Signaling that the barometer of a society's well-being is how its younger ones are being treated. How are they doing? Are they being fed properly, cared for regularly, and given hope for shaping beautiful and more just tomorrows? I'll never forget visiting a teenager who had been abused and was living in a safe center for women and children. And above the door, as one entered the house, were found these words: "Remember, children are meant to be heard and listened to and believed." Jesus was considered an unconventional social revolutionary precisely because he allowed children and women to do what? To accompany him in public. And because he treated them not as outcasts or chattel, but as full-fledged companions in life's journey. In ancient society, as well as in today's world, children have never been granted social equality, although their oppression is often disguised beneath layers of guilt-driven goodies and sweet-hearted rhetoric. The staggering fact is that the average time we adults spend playing with our own children is 40 minutes a week. One-on-one, up close, whereas we shop 6 hours a week. And things are getting worse. The reduced time parents spend with their offspring today compared to 50 years ago, 40% less. If there's one unmistakable truth resident in the bewildering, shadowy ministry of the Galilean rabbi, it was its unfailing push for a better status for the least and the lost and the little ones. "Let the children come up to me," he said, "and do not try to stop them." I'm not just referring to our own children, okay? But also to being equally concerned about Earth's other children. Children we will never know personally. Children from foreign lands, and children who stagger and reel on life's edges, and children not yet born. You never know what will save or lose a child. So start with the ones next to you, and then don't stop there. And if you can't really save them, which that's too big a word to use, at least be willing to serve them. This one's about pluck. It says it all comes back to personal pluck. You know, we can be bright, we can be well-intentioned, we can concoct a masterful life plan, but without pluck, we will travel only so far. Pluck is that indescribable oomph that shows up in our daring, nervy deeds. Here's a story of pluck. 1995, the brilliant concert violinist Ishak Perlman, brilliant, performing at the Lincoln Center in New York City. And during the midst of his performance, What happened? Strings on his violin suddenly burst in the midst of the performance, leaving Perlman with merely 3 strings. Refused to stop, but he plowed ahead, shifting, recomposing, and noticeably altering the classic piece. Perlman, you might say, plucked his way to the finish, basking in thunderous applause from a stunned, absolutely stunned yet appreciative audience. And then, without boasting, Perlman offered this pearl of wisdom. Well, you know, sometimes your job is to find out how much music you can still make with what you have left. How much music you can still make with what you got left. You have 10 minutes to live. Unquestionably, the key to a healthy and mature existence is to be as fully engrossed in every present moment as possible. To wake up and stay awake as long as you can. And such deep wakefulness is relevant whether we have years or weeks or moments remaining on earth. And so I ask, if you were allotted but 10 minutes in which to live, how would you likely spend them? And I ask myself right now, I'd share 3 minutes with loved ones. I'd spend 1 minute meditating upon some thought from religious literature. I'd spend 1 minute singing. No, I'd up that. Closer to 1.5 minutes. 1 minute weeping. Depending on where I was at that moment and my farewell, that could be adjusted too. Another minute belly laughing. I mean, real deep, deep laugh, not just chortling. Deep, deep laugh. 2, in quiet confession and supplication. And my remaining moments in trying to heal a hitherto frozen or fractured situation or relationship. And it doesn't matter if the person's in the room or still alive. How about you? Got a couple more. There are tokens more precious than gold. Like the one I have in my coin purse with loose change and a guitar pick. I'll tell you more about it. The particulars are private, but suffice it to say that we went with one of our family members to a recent AA meeting outside Portland, Oregon. She now wants her recovery struggle to go public, or I would not be talking like this. Why? Because she wants to minimize secrets. And she wants to strengthen her resolve to stay on course. She just turned 50. She's been in and out of recovery for the past 30 years. 30 plus years. She's now been clean and sober 3 years. Her birthday of choice occurs every December 16th. You know, you get the birthday you came in with, and then you get to choose one. Some of us. She chose for her life December 16th, and today, June 16th, 3 years, 6 months, a couple of hours, a few moments, but who's counting? Everybody I know that loves her and supports her is counting. She said at the meeting, I've earned this seat in this room, and I plan to keep returning to occupy this seat. But turning to the two of us, Mom and Dad, there are no guarantees. Clearly, our beloved daughter dwells in a state of realistic hopefulness, chastened hopefulness, and so do we. You know the Alcoholics Anonymous philosophy, one day at a time. Well, one woman got her 24-hour token that morning, whereas others procured tokens of 10, 20 years and more. And drenched in tears of pride and hopefulness, I went to the clerk of the meeting and I asked if I could have a 24-hour token to stick in my coin purse as a memento of our abiding daily support for this young woman, as well as for our own daughter, as well as for the natural, inevitable struggles incurred as well during my own daily voyage. She went to the back room and produced a beautiful bronze token with the words inscribed, "To thine own self be true. Unity, service, and recovery 24 hours." And on the other side was emblazoned the foundational prayer of all prayers, Reinhold Niebuhr's Serenity Prayer. And Reinhold Niebuhr wrote that before Bill got a hold of it and AA got a hold of it. He wrote it as a minister, a progressive minister in the urban community outside of Detroit. Still the foundation of all prayers. God, grant me serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Courage to change the things I can. And wisdom to know the difference. And I now rub this token every time I enter my coin purse, and times when I don't have anything in there, I still enter it. When I don't need the guitar pick, I still enter the coin purse as a reminder of life's fragility and our universal human connectedness. It's way more than a token. It's a touchstone for embodying all the love we humans can muster across the miles and spanning all the days of our journeys. I want to end with, I think I'll end with this one. It's called Wag Your Tails. A charming story describes how the Christian scriptures were translated from English into the Inuit or Eskimo language. Now, problems arose for the translators when they encountered certain words in English for which there are no corresponding terms in the Inuit language. For example, there's a passage that tells that the disciples are filled with joy upon meeting Jesus. Not just happy, not full of bliss, they're full of joy. Bigger word, bigger reality. But there's no word for joy in the Inuit language. So the translator had to find another way to express the meaning of the passage. And in their research, they discovered that one of the most joyful times for an Inuit family is when the sled dogs are fed in the evening. I mean, the dogs come barking and yelping and bounding about and wagging their tails energetically, and the children are squealing with delight, and the neighbors join the frivolity as well. And consequently, the translators use that particular event to help convey the meaning of the aforementioned biblical text. As a result, when the passage was translated back into English, it read, when the disciples saw Jesus, they wagged their tails. Can't do a whole lot better than that. Our earthly assignment is to bark and yelp wildly, gamboling and wagging our tails as furiously as possible, so that our deep joy might prove contagious, and all creatures of the universe might clap their hands, sing and dance, and join in life's perpetual celebration. May it come to pass 60% of the time. Love will guide us. Number 131. Please stand as your spirit and physical abilities allow. And we love this song so much, we're going to come back to it. Yeah, now is the time I think you connect hands, right? And I was early in the... Okay, and my hand's reaching out too. You know, in some ways it's good there's some openings. You know why? Because you don't want to ever close the circle too tight. There's a sister and a brother that needs to find Live Oak, or that couldn't be here today, or that's hurting for one reason or another that isn't in our presence. And we want to mystically connect with them as well. So we don't close the circle tight, but we're together, and I want to, the words are available for you from Kabir, truly one of the great soulful medieval poets, the Sufi poet Kabir. Please join me in the words together. My inside, they're not up there, huh? All right. They aren't in there, that's okay. Stay there and I'm going to help you with them. But you got to revisit Kabir at some point. My inside, listen to me, the greatest spirit, the teacher is near. Wake up, wake up. Run to the teacher's feet, who is standing close to your head right now. You have slept for millions and millions of years. Why not wake up this morning? Love will guide us. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.